my great friend Sonny Perdue, to Chairman Laura Cox, and all of you have come here from near and far. It is great to be back in the Great Lakes State. Thank you all for coming out today. Thanks for making us feel so welcome. We have had a great Michigan day. But I got to tell you, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. And that is that Michigan and America need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. You know, like all of you, I'm here because I stand with President Donald Trump. When this president stands up for American jobs and American workers, I stand with President Donald Trump. When this president stands up for faith and family and the American flag, I stand with President Donald Trump. And when this president stands up to the radical Democrats, their endless investigations, and their socialist agenda, we stand with President Donald Trump. You know, it's amazing to see all out today, but I see it everywhere I go. The truth is, 4 years ago, a movement was born. A movement of everyday Americans from every walk of life. Big cities and small towns. Here in Michigan, you believe we could be strong again. You believe we could be prosperous again. Michigan said yes to President Donald Trump in 2016, and I know that Michigan's going to say yes to 4 more years of President Donald Trump in 2020. Am I right? And it's because of the results. It really is. I mean, just this last month. I mean, think about it. Record Republican turnout in Iowa. A historic State of the Union address. America's stronger than ever before. And while the Democrats were still counting votes in the Iowa caucus, did you know President Trump received more votes in New Hampshire than any incumbent president in 50 years? And best of all, now just a few short weeks ago, after 3 years of endless investigations and their partisan impeachment, the United States Senate cleared our president on all charges. Justice was served, our Constitution defended, and President Donald Trump was acquitted forever. You know, I can see it here tonight again. The support for this president has never been stronger, not just here in Michigan, but all over the country. We were in Las Vegas on Friday. I got to speak before the president took to the podium, and I got to tell you, he's a hard man to precede. But I slipped out of there, and I got in the car. I was headed to the airport ahead of him, and there were more people outside the arena than were inside the arena in Nevada. Amazing. I mean, we're united. You see all the divisions in the Democratic Party. It's amazing to me to think as their party prepares to vote in Michigan on March the 10th, I couldn't be more proud to say Republicans are already united, and Michigan will pledge all its delegates to renominate President Donald Trump in 2020. Thank you, Michigan. And it really is because this president has delivered on all the promises that he made to the people of Michigan, and then some. I mean, the truth is, there's only one way you can describe the last 3 years. It's been 3 years of promises made and promises kept. It's true. I mean, think about it. President Trump promised to rebuild our military, restore the arsenal of democracy. And I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a president who cares so deeply about the men and women of our armed forces. This president has already signed the largest increases in our military budget since the days of Ronald Reagan. And as the proud father of a United States Marine captain, and as of a month ago, I'm the father-in-law of a Navy lieutenant. I couldn't be more proud to see this president finally insisting on the Congress to give our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard the resources and the support they need to defend this nation. And for 3 years in a row, a pay raise, the largest in 10 years for our men and women in uniform. The armed forces of the United States are the greatest force for good the world has ever known. And under this president, we've made the strongest military in the history of the world stronger still. And with that renewed American strength, we're standing tall on the world stage again. How great is it to have a president who embraces his role as leader of the free world? And truthfully, I stand before you today, and the president's on his way back from India. Another successful trip. Our allies are contributing more to our common defense than ever before. And under this president, if the world knows nothing else, the world knows this: America stands with Israel. So we've been standing with our allies, and we've been standing up to our enemies. I mean, think about it. When the last administration was sending pallets of cash to terrorists in Iran, this president has taken the fight to radical Islamic terrorists on our terms, on their soil. Last year, American forces captured the last inch of territory the ISIS caliphate controlled, and we took down their leader without one American casualty. And last month, on New Year's Eve, when militants stormed our embassy in Baghdad, this president sent in the Marines and said, "No more Benghazis." And when American lives were threatened by the most dangerous terrorist in the world, President Donald Trump took action, and Qasem Soleimani is gone. You know, the people of Michigan deserve to know that every one of the Democrats running for president, every one of them on that stage for that debate again tonight, actually criticized President Trump's decision to take down Qasem Soleimani. They did. Bernie Sanders even called the president's decision to take out Soleimani, quote, assassinating a government official. Well, I got news for Bernie Sanders. Soleimani was not some government official. He was a terrorist, and President Trump was right to take him down. That's what leadership looks like. That's the leadership of President Donald Trump. I mean, the truth is this president does care deeply about the men and women of our armed forces. He truly does. And his support. And his support for our men and women in uniform also extends to all of you who wore the uniform of the United States. President Donald Trump is the veterans' president. And under his leadership, we're finally giving you veterans in the room access to the real-time, world-class health care that you earned in the uniform of the United States. Veterans' Choice is now available for every veteran in America. So, it's been about national security. It's been about supporting our veterans. But this president also knows that national security starts with border security. Well, trust me. Under the president's leadership, we have made historic investments in border security, work to end the crisis of illegal immigration at our border. Mexico is doing more than ever before to secure their southern border and ours. How about this? Apprehensions today are down by more than 80% from 1 year ago on our southern border. And I didn't forget, we've already started to build that wall. 100 miles and counting. And trust me, we're going to build it all. And as we secure our border, as we uphold the rule of law, let me make you this other promise. As the grandson of an Irish immigrant who came through Ellis Island in 1923, once we secure our border, we're going to pass immigration reform that puts America first. We're going to have a merit-based immigration system and fix this immigration system once and for all. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And let me also say, to support the rule of law, I hope you all know, because they sure do, that this president, this vice president, and this administration will always stand without apology for the men and women of law enforcement at every level. You know, I tend to travel with a lot of law enforcement. I was driving into town today, and I'm sorry about that. I said, how many cars we got out there? And they said, you know, you got about 30 cars from all these different jurisdictions, and I'm humbled by that. I really am. Would you all mind just showing all these law enforcement officers how much we appreciate what they and their families mean for our families, for this state and this nation? Let's hear it for them. Finally, to support the rule of law, this president also kept his word to the people of Michigan. As I stand before you today, we've already confirmed more than 190 conservatives to our federal courts. And they are all men and women who will uphold all the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, like the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And on a day when Democrats in the Senate actually voted down legislation that would protect the lives of children that survive abortions, I couldn't be more proud to serve as vice president to a president who stands for the right to life. Think about that. I mean, today, Democrats in the United States Senate voted down the Born Alive Infant Protection Act. And many Democrats, including the Democrat governor of Virginia, actually openly advocated infanticide. And as I stand before you today, just recognize this. Every one of the leading Democrats running for president has actually said there's no room for pro-life Americans in today's Democratic Party. So let me say this. Let me say this to every pro-life American, Republican, Independent, or Democrat. You have a home in the Republican Party under President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump is the most pro-life president in American history, and every pro-life American is welcome. So it's about security, it's been about our liberty, and it's been about our most cherished values. And one other thing, under this president, it's been about jobs, jobs, jobs. From the first day of this administration, President Trump said we could revive the American economy. Remember the last administration? We had a president in August of 2016 who looked at a state like Michigan or my home state of Indiana and the loss of 500,000 manufacturing jobs and said, "What magic wand do you have?" Well, we didn't need a magic wand. We just needed President Donald Trump in the White House. This president went straight to work with our allies in Congress, including some great conservatives from here in Michigan. We cut taxes across the board for working families and businesses large and small. We rolled back more federal red tape than any administration in history. We unleashed American energy, and we fought for free and fair trade. NAFTA is gone. The USMCA is here. That's a big deal. And now, as I stand before you today, I don't have to tell you, here in Michigan, the American economy is booming. Since Election Day 2016, almost 8 million jobs have been created by businesses large and small, including 102,000 jobs right here in the Great Lakes State. And wages are rising. Wages are finally going up again. And what means the most to the president and me is wages are rising most rapidly for hard-working, blue-collar Americans. The forgotten men and women of America are forgotten no more. And the American people know it. The American people know it. I can tell from all the nods in the room. You see it here in Michigan. I see it everywhere I go. It's true. Karen and I slipped away for a spring break for a day last year. We went down to Florida. We go to this place called Sanibel Island. It's pretty popular here in the Midwest. Yeah, the president goes to Palm Beach. I go to Sanibel Island. Anyway, people on the island knew that we were there, but we were sitting out on the beach. We had our books and our ball caps and sunglasses. Absolutely true story. These two big boys wearing Budweiser shirts came walking by. This one fella stops, plants his feet, turns at me, and he says, "Hey, you're Pence." And I said, yes, I am. And he said, well, listen, you got to tell the president to keep doing what he's doing because I made twice as much money last year as I made the year before. And I told him I would. And I did. True. And then he walked away, had a warm smile on his face, and turned back, and he said, I don't know what you do, but keep doing what you're doing, too. And I told him I would. I mean, I'm telling you, the American people know it. I mean, thanks to your support, thanks to the confidence Michigan placed in this president, in this president's leadership, in 3 short years, we've made America great again. You got it. To keep America great, we need Michigan to decide right here and right now that you're going to vote for 4 more years for President Donald Trump in the White House. That's how we keep America great. And think about it. When you're out talking to your neighbors and friends, say, you know, I ran into Mike the other day in Troy. And he was talking to me about this. Think about it. Write this down if you're taking notes. 4 more years means more jobs. 4 more years means more judges. 4 more years means more support for our troops. And it's going to take at least 4 more years to drain that swamp. No, we're draining it. You know, the choice in this election couldn't be clearer. But honestly, men and women of Michigan, the stakes couldn't be higher. Today you have a president who loves this country. Stands by our military, our workers, our freedoms. He believes in you, and he believes in everything that's always made America great. We believe in him. And he fights for you every day. And then you got these Democrats running for president. I mean, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that debate in Las Vegas last week? Yeah, I didn't watch all of it either. I mean, that wasn't a Democrat debate. That was a demolition derby. What a train wreck. Now, look, in the Midwest, we know what a demolition derby is, right? And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, seriously. I mean, you know, I grew up in a small town. County fair comes to town, right? So everybody with the crummiest cars in town would drive them into the infield and crash them into each other until only one was driving. So now you've got all these Democrats with the crummiest ideas in politics smashing into each other, and eventually there'll still be one still running. But I think we all know how this is going to end. There's going to be a monster truck with a T on the hood that's going to drive into the infield and roll over the top of them. How's that? How's that? Feel good? I mean, you know, the media has been spending the last few days trying to figure out who won the debate, so let's help them out. President Donald Trump won the Democrat debate in a knockout. No contest. Lights out. It's going to happen again tonight. You know, the truth is, today's Democratic Party has been taken over by radical leftists. I mean, I actually started in politics as a teenager in the Democratic Party. I did. I was the youth Democrat Party coordinator in Bartholomew County, Indiana. I was. But I heard the voice of my second favorite president, Ronald Reagan, and I knew I belonged in the Republican Party. But when I served in Congress for 12 years, I knew many of the Democrats, but I got to tell you, I don't recognize the Democratic Party today. The Democratic Party today is dominated by people that want to raise taxes, have open borders, support late-term abortion, and socialist policies that would crush our economy. I mean, it's amazing to think the Democrat frontrunner boasts of being a democratic socialist. And he is. He actually recently praised the literacy program under the dictatorship of Castro in Cuba. And another one of their candidates actually said that he could teach anybody to farm. He said, you dig a hole, put seed in it, put dirt on top of it, add water, and up comes corn. Well, I don't know what's a more ignorant statement, believing that socialism works or that farming is easy. I mean, it's amazing. Truth is, when you look at their radical agenda, you can see why Democrats have spent the last 3 years trying to run down this president. Because they know they can't run against this president. They tried to impeach our president because they know they can't defeat President Donald Trump in November of 2020. So I want to encourage all of you, and every day that remains between now and Election Day this November, keep bringing this enthusiasm. Keep bringing your support. Keep telling your neighbors and friends all across this great state everything that we've accomplished. Seriously, at work, at worship, go out and tell the story. Tell them what they're not hearing about on most of their major cable television stations every day. Okay? Truthfully. I mean, Michigan always plays an outsized role in the choice of the American president. And the people of Michigan heard in this president's voice an agenda that could turn this country around. And you said yes to him in 2016 because you were all talking to each other. You weren't listening to the pundits or the pollsters when you said Michigan knows leadership when they see it. They know an American agenda when they see it. And we need you to go out and talk about that one more time. And in these challenging times, when it seems like there's more that divides us in this country than any time in my lifetime, I have to tell you, folks, I have faith. I have faith in this president, who I serve with every day, whose drive and vision have made America great again and are going to make this country greater than ever before. I have faith in the American people, who chose right in 2016, and this year will choose freedom once again in 2020. I have faith. And finally, my heart is sustained probably the same way most of yours is. But I have faith that if we will continue to turn our eyes to Him who has always graced this nation throughout our long and storied history, that He will yet bless America beyond anything that we could ask or imagine. This one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So have faith in Him. Ladies and gentlemen, it is great to be with you today, but I got a plane to catch. I'm going to head back to Washington, D.C. The president gets back sometime early tomorrow, and I figure we'll be right back to work at the White House. But I want to thank you. The whole idea. I want to thank you for coming out. And while I'm at it, can I just say to Michigan, thank you for the privilege of being your vice president. It is the greatest honor. And let me just encourage you with these words. Don't ever doubt it. Don't ever doubt it. I see him every day. I see him when the lights and the cameras are not on. Folks, you can tell people you heard it from me. President Donald Trump is the real deal. He says what he means what he says. He never backs down. He's never stopped fighting to keep the promises that he made to the people of Michigan. And now it's our turn to fight for him. It's on. But I just know seeing all of your bright and shining faces that with your continued support every day between now and November 3rd, we're going to keep on winning. We're going to make Michigan and America stronger and more prosperous than ever before. And with President Donald Trump in the White House for 4 more years, and with God's help, we're going to keep America great. Thank you so much, Michigan. God bless you, and God bless America.
And there he is on behalf of President Donald Trump, who is on his way back from India today. As you heard, he will be arriving in the U.S. sometime early tomorrow morning. And of course, as you heard from him, probably going to get back to work right away. Just want to remind you guys, we work hard here at the News Now desk, and wanted to say if you could subscribe to our page. We do appreciate each and every single one of you who have done that already, but do appreciate our new subscribers as well, as we cover nonstop news that happens all across our country, live events, and of course breaking news and those top stories that happen. Thanks so much for being here with us, and coming up next I want to play something that did happen just a little bit earlier today. I took a look